Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel, and today I will be teaching us Nutrition 101. And I'm going to do this while I prepare my dinner because it's getting late, okay? If you've been in my space already, you would know that I am a dietitian, and I have been able to work across the globe with a lot of clients, both individuals, organizations, families, and the likes of that. And I can successfully say that we have had proven record of successful management. I just feel like there is just so much going on in the whole health and wellness space these days. And to be very honest, they're very eye-opening. I still look into it because one thing about the beauty of nutrition is that it's an ever-evolving culture. And I say culture because it's something that you learn to imbibe as a health, as a lifestyle actually. It's very, very interesting to see what people are coming up with and how people are saying, oh no, let's do keto diet. Oh no, let's do intermittent fasting. Oh no, you need to stop eating. Oh no, you need to eat this more. Oh no, you need to build your carbs. Oh no, you need to build your proteins. So it's a lot of conversations going on, and I'm very sure that a lot of you might actually be on the side of people that are actually confused, like, are we eating or are we not eating? Now, when it comes to food, there are only two things you should first of all understand. These are macronutrients and micronutrients. Now, macronutrients are the things that give you calories, hence they are the things that give you energy. And then micronutrients are the things that protect you in terms of bodily functions, in terms of skin enhancement, metabolic improvement, bone absorption, even immunity boost, the things that fight off germs, like the things that do the other things that calories do not typically do. Okay, and these are micronutrients. And now to explain, macronutrients are your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fat. I'm sure you've probably heard of these things as the main things that give you calories, but you didn't understand why they're called macro. Why are they called macro? Because they constitute a bulk of what your body needs in terms of cognitive function, in terms of body energy, which is the most important thing, tissue build. So cell regeneration, building your tissues, your muscles, and all of that. So these are the main things that constitute that, and those are what are called macronutrients. 1 gram of your carbohydrate gives you 4 kilocalories. And I'm sure you've heard of calories because everyone is aware of calories now. Yes. And 1 gram of protein gives you 4 kilocalories. But then 1 gram of fat gives you 9 kilocalories, which is to tell you that fat actually has the highest calories ever. But why do people treat carbohydrates like they're actually that the enemy? A lot of people are staying off carbs, and I mean, I'm a dietitian, I understand where that is coming from, but then I need to let you know that carbohydrates are so important for you, and which is why I'm never going to advise someone, well, I won't say never, but for now, which is why I'm not going to advise anyone to stay off carbs entirely. Why would you stay off carbs entirely? Your body needs carbs to generate energy. It needs carbs for you to generate your glucose, your ATP, which is your main functioning engine for your body to run. Okay, then your body needs carbs for actually some hormonal sensitization, some hormonal functions, for your cognitive function. You need carbs, even for your muscle, for your nervous system build. So you do need carbs, okay? The only reason why carbs seem to be a danger is because they directly constitute to blood sugar, and excess of carbs directly store up as adipose tissues, or in your adipose tissues as adiposity, in the sense that it stores up as fat. Okay, and in terms that it can also lead to a lot of unhealthy outcomes like obesity, weight gain, sleep deprivation, blood sugar, hypertension, hypercholesterolemia. There are so many disadvantages with having unhealthy carbs, and that is another thing you need to now understand. When it comes to carbohydrates, there are complex sugars and there are simple sugars. Now, you already know that carbohydrates are sugars. So in order to give you an example, you have 2 items of carbohydrates here. And this This is your complex carbohydrate, and this is your simple carbohydrate. In other words, this is your complex sugar, and this is your simple sugar. Now, if it didn't give it away by how they look, yes, simple sugars are easier to assimilate. They also come in simpler forms. So you can have simple sugars in your fruits. They must not be in liquid form. So you have simple sugars in your fruits, your ice cream, your pastries. You have simple sugars in the sugar form of itself. That is in your sugar, your granulated sugar, your cubed sugar. These are simple sugars. You have sugar in your drink. You have sugar in your spread, in your dessert. All those things are simple sugars. They are very fast to assimilate. Now, complex sugars come unrefined. And not only do they come unrefined, they are complex in nature. They are food. They come whole. Now, the reason why complex sugars are things you go more for and you avoid these ones is because these ones fast get into your system and they assimilate, raising your blood sugar, having higher glycemic index, or even indicating faster rise in your blood sugar because they are of a simple nature. So if you are battling diabetes or hyperglycemia or even hypercholesterolemia or even hypertension, you just want to stay off this. Whether you're battling it or not, you need to reduce your intake of simple sugars. Okay? That is not to say that there are no cases where you might want to have some of this. You can have this socially, occasionally, and especially if you are aware and grounded with your glycemic level. You always need to know what your blood sugar is at, okay? Now, these are complex sugars, and these are better because they take time to metabolize. They take time to break down. So in other words, they don't just rush up into your bloodstream and cause a spike in your blood sugar. No, they take time to metabolize, to break down, and in that time they give your system time to adjust and to gradually assimilate them into your bloodstream. So they have a lower impact and lower risk on your system. However, you still need to be watchful of this because it's a lot. It's a lot of calories. So that is why complex sugars are also good, okay? There are more advice. Now, I don't want to digress too much into this. I'm very happy to have another topic where I talk about sugars, types of carbohydrates you should have, but I'm going to try to hint at as much as possible on this video. Just to explain this, because I'm trying to align this to, health. I'm trying to align this to weight. When you focus on your macros, you need to go less white and go more brown. So you need to go brown and not white. That means that for your carbs, you need to be choosing, when you're choosing your complex carbohydrates to start with, you need to choose things that have more bran. So when it comes to rice, you're going more of brown rice. When it comes to things like flours, you're going more of brown flours, the ones with the chaff, the ones with the bran, okay? When it comes to bread, you're going more brown than white bread. So that is one thing you should take away from that. When it comes to your proteins, obviously, if you're considering weight gain, weight loss, weight maintenance, undisputedly, you should still eat healthy. And the healthier proteins are obviously your white meats because those ones have healthier fat and they have less cholesterol, okay? Now, your white meat is your chicken, everything poultry, and everything fish. Okay, these are categorized as your white meat. You can also go for other healthy and safer choices when it comes to proteins like your eggs, your skimmed milk, and your lean beef even, okay? But you want to be cautious about the cholesterol in what you're having. And when you have your eggs, I particularly recommend that in some cases, take out the yolk. Okay, you don't need to take the yolk all the time. As much as the yolk does not have so much of the bad cholesterol and it has more of the good cholesterol, you still want to be cautious about what you take. Okay, that being said, when it comes to your fat, you want to go for fat like this because this has more of the monounsaturated fat, which is healthier for you because it has no cholesterol or it has less cholesterol, and that is healthier for your heart. It is healthier for your arteries as well. Okay, you need to go for less processed fats in terms of less things like butter, less things like cheese, and you want to go for things that are more like fresh extract from plants. So if you're getting your olive oil, your canola oil, your safflower oil, your soy oil. These are healthier options. The micros are important because they are vitamins and they're minerals, and these things support body processes from bone absorption to helping fat metabolism to helping other nutrient absorption to helping hemoglobin production to helping cognitive function to helping vision enhancement. You can't just focus on the micros and forget that the macros might also have high calories or unhealthy fat, which is technically what we worry about when it comes to macros. I think for us to consider healthy macros, we have to check that they have fiber. And when we talk about fiber, we are talking more of the insoluble fiber instead of the soluble. Now, the soluble is good because it helps protect your gut health and it helps to reduce and regulate your cholesterol. Soluble also helps to add to your food bulk and also helps because it is soluble, so it digests and it becomes in a gel-like form and it becomes part of your food. You would like soluble, but soluble does not do so much for you when you are trying to control your weight. The insoluble ones are the things like the fiber, the ultra fiber you have in food, like the fiber in your oranges, like the fiber in your rice, your brown rice, the bran that I had mentioned. When you're focusing on the insoluble fibers, those ones are better because they constitute bulk when you eat, but they don't digest. They're not soluble, so they don't become part of your food. They instead help break down these carbohydrates, break them down, they get the work done, they help your metabolism, they help your digestion, and they make sure that what the body does not need is excreted. Okay, now I digress. Back to your micronutrients. You want to stick more with the micronutrients and target your macronutrient of value. So what I'm saying now is you have to define your weight goal. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to gain weight? Now, if you're trying to lose weight, that means that obviously you need to consider cutting down on almost all the macros except your proteins. Now, because your proteins are very necessary for building muscle mass. And when you build muscle mass, you reduce fat mass. Now, when the energy you take in from the food is equal to the energy you expended in that day, you have had what is called an energy balance. But when the food you took in has more energy, gave you more energy than the energy you were able to expend, that is where you have an energy surplus because energy intake was higher than energy expended. Now, in the case of consistent energy surplus, you are going to have weight gain. Okay, this is in ideal situations. But when the food intake you have and the energy you got from food is less than the energy you expended. So say I took in 1,200 kilocalories from food in a day, but I expended 1,800 kilocalories from physical and mental activity, then I have an energy deficit of 600. And when there is a consistent energy deficit, there will be weight loss. If you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to stabilize your weight, you want to start off with eating smaller portions. A lot of people will starve themselves for so long, and then when they eat, when their body is so ready to assimilate food, they are eating a big bowl of food because they have starved themselves for so long, and it doesn't work that way. You need to eat smaller portions even if you hadn't eaten in a long while because your body needs to take time to assimilate, and you need to be careful of what you're loading your body with in terms of calories per intake. So once you do that, you need to cut down. If your typical portion was this, you need to cut that down by 2 or by 3, given what your goal is. So you want to eat small but frequently, especially if you have high cravings. Like I have a very fast metabolism, but weirdly, because I have high cravings and because I am on medication because my leg hurts, sometimes I find out that my cravings are high and I want to eat. Still might want to have some appetite teasers, things that tease your appetite, that make them think that you are eating but you're not eating. And things like that are things like water, like healthy snacks, healthy fruit snacks like cucumber, like carrots if it's in the day, but like cucumber, things that have very little to no sugar, but it makes your body feel like you're eating. Another thing you want to do is to reduce stress, because when you stress, you produce more cortisol, and cortisol has a way of messing up your hunger hormones, messing up your absorption levels, and actually messing up, distorting even your digestion process. So you want to cut down on stress, you want to sleep well. So you want to go whole versus processed, which means you need to take out all those refined products that you have as much as possible. I know that some of them help make our lives easier. Realistically, you need to spend time to meal prep. Meal prepping helps you combine the nutrients that you want, plan the foods that you want, and plan it according to your lifestyle ahead of time. And you need to exercise. Now, exercise is good, but it's not just in the way that we see it. A lot of people can go to the gym for years and not lose weight because they are trying to do targeted exercises without actually doing things that burn fat, without actually things that actually expand, that tells their body, oh, it's time to go, it's time to burn fat. Things like cardio, these things actually help you burn fat. But the simpler things to do could be taking a 10 minute walk per day. And if it's cold, come back home and dance. 10 minutes dance a day goes a long way to keep your physical activity level very, very good. So today I'm going to be making egg salad, and egg and avocado salad. This is a nutrient dense food, but then the egg has just about 6 grams, or yes, it just has about 6 grams of proteins, and if I'm looking at the 4 of them, that's about 24 grams of proteins. However, I'm not having everything at once, okay? And we're going to be doing that and having the healthy avocado. And this avocado, the full of it has about 200 kilocalories, which is a lot. 200 kilocalories for just one of it, because like I said, fats constitute a lot of calories. But we are also not going to have this at once. But this is a healthy meal option for late lunch or early dinner. Okay, it is a healthy option, and then you can try to season it the way you want. You can season it with healthy dressing. Like I found this garlic and honey dressing. I'm going to be drizzling a little bit of it in it.
Sweeties, did you find this helpful, and what part of this video would you like me to expatiate more on? Comment below. Until next time, bye bye.